I am officially free from my 9 to 5 job. And it feels so good. So, if you've been watching my journey, you already know that I made the decision to leave my corporate 9 to 5 job as a clinical research coordinator, which was, I guess I made the decision maybe about 2 months ago now. And yesterday was my last day. And I think it was a pretty okay day, a little weird, which I guess I'll get into, but for the most part, it was smooth, to where I didn't have a lot that I actually need to do for the day. Um, One of the things that I made sure that I did before I left was complete the exit interview survey that HR sent out. And at first, I wasn't going to do it because I figure, like, do they even look at this? Do they read it? Do they take it seriously? And, sometimes certain organizations may use the feedback that they receive as a way to protect themselves from any legal action or, things like that. And so I was kind of concerned about that. Um, but what I came to the conclusion of is like, I don't know what they're going to do with the information, but if I have a chance to say anything, which I do in this case, I want to say it because I don't want to look back 6 months from now, a year from now, or whenever and think to myself, like, man, that was really messed up, like how they treated me. And I wish I would have told somebody that had the power to do something about it. You know what I mean? Because I really feel like nobody deserves to be treated how I was treated. And I don't want to say like, because there are levels to it, right? So I don't want to say like I was like treated the most horribly out of like anybody who's ever lived. Like it wasn't to that degree, but there were a lot of micro tendencies, a lot of micro things in nature that revealed itself, and some things that weren't so micro. And I'll get into it because I plan to read what I wrote. Um, but there were times when I was making my videos, like the videos that you all have watched, where as I was editing them, I took parts of the story out because I didn't want I don't know, I didn't want people to think maybe I was being bitter about the situation or being negative. Um because I really wasn't. You know what I mean? There were just like things that were legit happening that were not right and that were frustrating. And so it would come out when I was trying to explain my stories, and my experience in my videos. And then when I played it back, I'm like, I love how I explained it and I think it's fair, but I don't want to put that energy out there. But I'm realizing like that is my experience, and if these people wanted better reviews or whatever the case might be, however you want to phrase it, it's like, well, they should have treated me better. Like they should have, not just me, right? Because it's a systemic thing within the team. So they should probably change how they are treating their employees and how they care for them. Um, and so yeah, I won't kind of belabor the point now, but I just wanted to give context and background to some of that. And I do want to make sure that I am, you know, being clear in the things that I say and the things that I communicate, because I don't say things for my own, like, I don't say things just for fun. Like, I say it because I have something to say, it has meaning, and I take the time to really think about the things that I put out there. Um, in the real world, I am a quiet person. I'm introverted, although I do like to be social. But one thing about me is I don't really talk that much. You know, I know that I'm talking on these videos, so it's like, yeah, you're going to hear me talking more, obviously, than I would be if I'm talking like one on one or in a group of people. I would say personally, I do better one on one. Like, I can be like more open and more of myself, like in a one on one dynamic. But like, I would say the larger the group is, the quieter I am. And I just observe really. And sometimes it takes me a while to process like the things that I've experienced. And in this case, it's been I've been here for 2 years, or not here because I'm not there anymore, but I was at my job for 2 years, and it took me that long to really process everything that I had experienced over those past 2 years, all summed up into this review that I gave, or feedback that I gave to HR when they asked me why was I leaving. And again, it was a survey, so I didn't get to talk to anyone outwardly. I just had to write it down, which is great for me because I feel like I was able to best communicate and express myself in that way, versus like if I were to talk to somebody in person or on the phone. I feel like even though I would be as honest as I can be, um, I feel that just by the very nature of the type of communication, that I may have left out certain things that I wanted to say. You know how like you get into an argument with somebody, or like a back and forth, or maybe even a debate, and after it's said and done, and you think back like, dang, I should have said this or whatever. um that's kind of how it is for me when I have so much on my mind that I think about a situation, or that I'm feeling about a situation that I want to express, um but I can't really truly express it all verbally. Like, I really think my medium for communication is writing. So even when I make these videos, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I forgot to add this. But just know, when you're watching my videos, in any video, really, content creation in general, it's like you can't really judge it fully because there may be context that's left out. You know what I mean? There may be things that were left unsaid, and then that becomes a whole nother conversation of clarity and things like that needing to happen. But I think that as long as you can get the main message of what I'm trying to say, or what, other creators are trying to say, like, I think that's the main part. So like, if there are gaps, or like things that maybe don't fully make sense, maybe you can like fill in the gap yourself. But yeah, that's the one downside, I think, for me when it comes to communicating um and sharing information via video. um but anyway, enough about that. um I want to tell you guys what I wrote in my feedback to HR. I have it here, so I'm gonna read it off. And to be honest, like, I did not even expect my feedback to be as long as it ended up being. Um, I just was writing from the heart and from my experiences, and just trying to make sure I was comprehensive in excuse me, making sure I was comprehensive in sharing that with them. And they say that the feedback is anonymous, but it was connected to my name in, the system. So I wonder if by anonymous they mean like they won't share the feedback, like what I said, or if it means even though it's connected to my name in the portal, if the person reading it can't see who I am. And so, because I didn't know which way it went, I made sure to identify myself, or at least like the department I was coming from, in my review or in my feedback, so that they can literally take what I said and do with it what they will. And hopefully that would be, you know, looking into things and taking the feedback to the department or to the division and really implementing some changes, because I think what I said is serious, and anybody who truly cares in HR to have a better, employee experience and just overall organization would heed to what I'm saying and at least take the time to investigate. So I do hope that they do that. And yeah, so I'm just going to read it and let you guys in on what I said. So without further ado, I am going to read what I wrote, and I'm going to make sure to just censor out like the things that are identifiable to the company. Um but yeah, here I go. I've worked in blank research for the past 2 years. It's hard to put everything in words, honestly, but I'm just disappointed in my experience within my team and how research management handles things and the lack of resources or genuine care slash empathy provided for a person's well being. It's like they take advantage of us for the work we can do and only see us as a machine to do an unlimited amount of work, even if it's unsustainable. And any concerns that get brought up, we get told that's just the nature of the job, or it gets dismissed as there's no other choice. This is what's required. Even if that's not actually the case, because there is more than one way to handle different situations. It's not collaborative at all and feels like we don't get to have any real input in how we go about meeting certain objectives as a team. Even after telling my manager I was burnt out from being overworked, no resources or support was offered or talked through to help me get to a better place, other than her telling me it's ultimately going to be up to me to get myself out of my burnout, along with adding not so favorable marks on my performance review about how I need to show up more enthusiastic and positive in my role, which hugely omitted context of the burnout which was created by being severely understaffed for months and taking on the role of multiple people while training new staff during my manager's maternity leave. I think this nuance matters, and omitting that from the review to an outsider makes it seem like I showed up in a certain way, which isn't the case or the full story. It largely ignores the environment they've created, making it seem like I'm inherently unenthusiastic or uninterested in my role and a slacker, which I have never been and has been proven from my past work experiences. There's also a lack of recognition or opportunities for enrichment within the team. There has also been a lot of unnecessary tension and negative comments from management at times, which doesn't help team morale, telling us that we don't do our jobs well, even though it's been proven by others in the office that we have been doing our jobs, which has resulted in several process changes as a way to micromanage and force our hands in doing things even when we've expressed concern for the rationale. The impact has been felt by several people on our team, even though no one feels comfortable enough to express their honest feelings to management. We talk amongst ourselves as a way of coping. Due to all of this, I personally no longer felt comfortable or emotionally safe, excuse me, or emotionally and mentally safe in my work environment, so I chose to resign. Flipping the page here. There's also been favoritism that I've witnessed at times, which I don't appreciate. Primarily, how certain people are treated when they've decided to leave the team. Some people who have, in quotes, acceptable reasons for why they are choosing to leave get celebrated, and management will coordinate farewell festivities and a card for them. But for other people who choose to leave due to being fed up with the culture of the work environment, They don't plan anything, which is not kind or caring, especially when the employee has successfully given years of their time and energy to help support the goals of the team. I have witnessed this pattern happen in my time here as it is huge, excuse me. I have witnessed this pattern happen in my time here as it is high turnover, and I was also one for which nothing was planned even though I provided a 7 weeks notice of my resignation. When someone in the office reached out to my manager, letting her know that some people were inquiring about if there would be a farewell, if there would be farewell activities on my behalf as a kind gesture, instead of putting something together for me or letting the person know how they could help coordinate, my manager responded by asking this person, "Who asked you that?" as a way to shut things down, and then proceeded to be unprofessional by messaging my core team without me, copying and pasting the person's message to them, which again was a genuine gesture to help give me a proper goodbye, saying she found it somewhat strange that no one would come directly to them about it, and yet still didn't even attempt to put anything together for me afterwards, not even a card. The worst part about it all is that in the day to day, the tension and quiet injustices are so normalized and micro in nature at times that it's hard to fully shed light on it, and people just let it slide even though they feel that certain things are off or not right. I can't continue to be a part of something like that, especially when management has no interest in learning how they can improve. It's always deflected back to the employee as their issue. They don't reflect on the type of environment they are creating that genuinely does affect people. It's very unfortunate because I know there are other people who have had different experiences within blank. So, because of that, I would consider working at blank again in a different context. However, I wish blank was able to create some type of system to reinforce and make sure that this type of stuff didn't happen, not just requiring passive trainings that people clearly don't always abide by. There's a lot that goes on in this organization that will never be known about or reported because people are scared or uncomfortable and feel like their voice won't change the situation, especially when people in management have been here for years and the power imbalance goes unchecked when things are not right. I'm not sure if these comments get read or taken seriously at all, but if someone wants to reach out, I'm happy to talk. Hold on, flipping the page. I'm happy to talk to someone in further detail about my experience and what I've witnessed if it means real reform can happen. Because although our research team does great work for the division, I don't think research management fully reflects the blank values. In order to do that well, the management has to be able to truly care about the humanity of their employees first, rather than just trying to manage the optics of a situation. And that's what I said. And I shared this um, input with some of the people that are close to me, some of the people that I know in my life, and everybody gave great feedback to that. They were really proud of me for standing up for what's right and my experiences and putting it out there. And I think that people don't do that enough. Um, I mean, heck, even while I was there, right, I felt too uncomfortable to really, truly call attention to some of this stuff to management at the time that it was happening. And like I said in what I just read, at times when certain things were brought up, it just got dismissed, right? So, like, if you're bringing things to management and it's getting dismissed, why then would I feel comfortable to bring larger issues to management thinking that something would be done? You know what I mean? When they are the problem. Um, and it's interesting because I don't even know, like, I feel like to some degree they have to know that they're a problem, right? It's probably some of that mixed with like they don't care. But then part of me thinks that there are certain parts where they probably don't see that it's problematic because they're so used to operating like that and getting their way and what they want to see happen, that they're not thinking about how it comes off to somebody else or to their employees or the environment that they're creating. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, and I hope that that's an encouragement to anybody out there that may be experiencing injustice in their work environment. um no matter how big or small it is, right? Because sometimes we try to downplay it because it's like, oh, like it's not that big of a deal. But like copy paste, right? Like if you're in an abusive relationship and the person's not hitting you yet, right? But they're doing little things that emotionally or mentally mess with you, and you say, oh, it's no big deal. um but it is a big deal, right? So copy paste that same logic, because in an abusive relationship like that, it starts somewhere and then it escalates. Use that same logic for anywhere else in your life. If somebody is treating you a certain way, call attention to it, right? Try to see if it's something that is worth working out, that you can work out. But if it's not working out, and a situation like this in your workplace, when you try to talk to management, they don't want to listen, or they're just deflecting or whatever the case might be. um I would I would try to I would try to take that to someone higher up if you can. Um, or if they don't want to do anything about it, just leave, right? Because that's also an option. But I know it's not always as simple to leave. But I'm just talking from the other side at this point. I left, and you can too if that is your story, right? So there's always hope. There's always something that can be done, even if it's not from the side of justice the way that you would want to see it. Something can be done, even if it's as simple as you leaving and you taking control to create your own justice and your own freedom in that situation. um but yeah, so that's that. And then after I submitted my feedback, I had to meet with my manager to give her back my badge and my keys and stuff like that. And it was so weird because when I was in her office and I gave her the stuff back, why she want to do some small talking, and she's like asking me all of a sudden about my next steps, and all of a sudden she's so interested in it. Oh, like when do you start your program? Wait, so what exactly will you be doing? Even though I did tell her what I plan to do when I put my resignation in 7 weeks before. But my point is, throughout all them 7 weeks, she asked nothing about my next steps, what I had planned. She damn near didn't even really care about it when I told her that I was leaving. Um, she just simply asked, why was I leaving, and didn't dig any deeper when I told her about me being burnt out and unhappy with like how things were and stuff like that. She didn't inquire more. I just think it's interesting that all of a sudden in the final hours, she wants to like inquire about what I'm doing next, and saying, oh, like keep in touch, maybe we'll cross paths, and asking about my family, because I've mentioned my family in the past, just as far as um like the work that they do. And she's like all of a sudden so interested now in like asking, so yeah, like is your mom gonna be switching careers too and now and stuff, like just dumb stuff, just dumb. It was just dumb. I don't want to be too rude about it, but it was just like it's a weird vibe. I did entertain the conversation because I mean, I'm on my way out. Like I'm not an inherently like rude person. Like if you're engaging me, I'm gonna engage you back. but I know that I can't trust you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to tell you like my entire, you know what I mean, like life story, but I was engaging in the conversation and, just being cordial back in my responses. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else was she asking. She definitely asked about what I had going on next, when I started, what exactly I was doing, um, saying that she was really excited for me and hope that things work out, and then asking about my family and their jobs and what their plans were, and um, what else? She said something she did say was, I would give you a hug, but I know you're not like, an emotional hugger, which I don't even know what the I almost cuss. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, right? Because at the end of the day, if you knew me, not what you think you perceive you know about me, but if you knew me, you would know I actually am a hugger. That's number one, because I hugged two people in the office prior to coming into this meeting with you. That's number one, right? That's number one. Just because I don't show my emotion to you up in this office because of how you are, and you don't either. You don't show any emotion either. So, you know what I mean? For her to say something like that is crazy. And sorry, my mind is going all over the place. We also did on Wednesday my performance review. Because she asked me if I wanted to do it. So I said sure. So we did it. But even how that all went down was kind of crazy, and you could kind of tell she's just judgmental in how she views a person, and she already has her mind made up of, oh, this is who this person is, even without the evidence to support that. It's truly just her perception, and she runs with that. She doesn't check in, she doesn't seek to clarify any misunderstandings or things like that. So that's just a little sidebar. But when she said that, I said, I mean, I like hugs, but she still didn't give me a hug. Which is fine, because I didn't want to hug her because I'm not close to you. That's fake to me. Like, you have been fake this entire time, and now on my departure you want to make it seem like it's all good vibes. You want to smooth things over in the final hour and mention a hug. Like, where did that come from? So I really felt gaslit, honestly, from that experience sitting in her office for the last time. And part of me feels like she did that intentionally, knowing how things had played out, and then in the final hour wanted to smooth it over. um I guess in hopes that it kind of clears up my perception of her or them, as I move on into the next chapter of my life. It kind of feels like a sandwich. You know how, like, the sandwich method for constructive criticism, where you say something good and then you give the not so good feedback, and then you end with like something good. I feel like that was my experience here at this job, right? So, like, when I first started, like, they were good, they were nice, they, you know what I mean, like, very mindful in how they presented themselves to me. Then in the middle part, it was just like all hell broke loose. They didn't care. They were very micromanaging, very matter of fact, very unempathetic and caring, um, as in terms of like what I got going on, or the burnout, or the environment that they're creating, or what they're making us do, even if it didn't make sense. And then at the very end of my experience, she adds like this last little meeting of like small talk to like act like she's invested and engaged in what I got going on in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. Um so I very much felt gaslit, and it honestly made me feel bad about like what I had wrote in my review. I didn't feel too bad, but I was sitting there in, like, in her office, thinking to myself as we were having this small talk, like, damn, like I really feel bad that I said this. Like that's probably like if HR really does something about that, that's really gonna like mess her up, and I feel bad about that. And mess her up, like I don't really know. I'm just assuming, right? Mess her up meaning what? I don't know. Like a slap on the wrist, I don't know. But like what I said, if someone really took it seriously, has the potential to cause some type of riffraff, right? Some type of movement. And so I just genuinely, at person to person, I felt, and this is what I mean by them caring about a person's humanity, and which I feel like I do at the very least, you know what I mean? That made me feel like a little sad, like dang, like you know what I mean? But I didn't stay there too long. I said what's done is done. And also I have to recognize this was my experience, point blank, right? So if they wanted a better review or better feedback, then they should have treated me better, and they should have treated other people better who came before me, and they should have just made a better environment, period, for the people that are working for them. So I felt a little bad, but I didn't stay there. I didn't get stuck there, and I shook it off, and that's what it was. But yeah, that was my last day, and I said my goodbyes to people. I'm probably There's probably some other stuff that happened in the meeting that I'm not really remembering, but I just know I felt very uncomfortable. I felt I felt very uncomfortable and very awkward. Like it was um very different. I just couldn't wait to get out of there. My anxiety was like through the roof. I felt awkward. It just was not. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. And I had felt awkward increasingly over time, just being in her office because we would meet every week. But I sensed the sincerity and genuineness like was out the window. So I always just kind of felt uncomfortable and weird like in her presence. Um but yeah, so back to what I was saying. So I said my goodbyes to people that I connected with while I was there. And that was that. I really felt like I don't know, I didn't feel bad walking out of there. It just felt like another day. Like, okay, good, that's over. I felt relieved. I felt relieved. That's primarily the feeling that I felt. And if you remember what I read from my feedback, where it was like she didn't even put a farewell happy hour together for me or anything, or card. Um, I do want to note that um, even though she did not do that, and like usually she lets the folks on the team know, and they circulate the card and everything. Even though she did not do that, there were people in the office that still cared about me. They were not necessarily a part of my core team that kind of sought a different additional information or tried to figure out what was going on. But I don't like hold that against them, like it's whatever. But the people who did take it upon themselves to act on my behalf and advocate for me and try to see what they could do for me as a farewell, I really appreciate that, and that really sticks out. Like that's the difference between just someone who's cordial with you, or someone who's just a coworker that you kind of have common ground with at work, and someone who truly is, I would say, friend material, and someone who understands um that we all at our basic level deserve respect and appreciation, regardless of any differences or disagreements or anything of the sort. Now, the people that um looked out for me, we never had any disagreements or things like that, but I'm just saying, like, those are the type of people that I look out for, right? Those are the type of people that I can trust, that I can get down with, that I can open up to a little more and say, okay, I know you're a good person at the end of the day, because you see an injustice or you see somebody being mistreated, and it makes you want to do something about it, right? Even if you can't do something large, even you just coming to me and letting me know that you see me or you see the situation speaks volumes. And so I appreciate those type of people, because those type of people are real people. They are people that don't subscribe to the status quo of what, like how people think that you should uh be, or things like that. They don't assimilate to um the toxic culture around them, and um they stand for what's right. So I always appreciate people like that. I appreciated those folks for sure. And yeah, those people, I will remember them. I have their contact information, and we were ones to kind of say what's up while we were in the office and things like that. So I'll remember them for sure, and they will definitely have a special place in my heart and my mind. And I'm wishing them all the best in their life and their future endeavors. But to add to that, um, you know, when I came in on Wednesday this week, I came in late because I had like an appointment, but I came in and there was a card sitting on my keyboard. And when I saw that, I was like surprised, because I knew the situation. Like, I knew my manager um blatantly did not do anything for me. And um so in my mind, I didn't know who the card was from, but I'm like, okay, did the message kind of get through? Like, did they do something last minute? Um But the answer to that was no, they did not. But it was someone in the office that did think about me, and they gave me a card, and this is the card here. And I really appreciated that. It says goodbye, good wishes, good vibes. So I appreciated that a lot. And I opened the card. I'll cover their name up. But this is the card. And look, it got some money in there. It said lunch on me. $25. I didn't use it yet, but it's gonna get used. Um, and I was like, just wow, that is so thoughtful. I said, and I couldn't read the handwriting. Like, I could, excuse me, let me not say that. I could read the handwriting, but when it came to when they signed who it was, I had a hard time like deciphering who it was. So I'm like, who is this? Because they even put their married last name, which is not the last name that I've known them by like the whole time. So, like even on their, their work documents, everything, it's not their married last name. So I just didn't know, but I had an inkling, and I went over to that person. I said, "Do you know who this is? Like, who this is from?" And she was like, "Oh, it's from me." I said, "Oh, okay." Like, I thought it could be, but and I gave her a hug and I said, "Thank you so much. Like, that is so thoughtful of you. So thoughtful. Like, she did not have to go out of her way to do that, but she did." And I truly appreciated that. And then on top of that, we also, the people who expressed care and genuine interest, we actually ended up doing our own little happy hour for me, because again, like I said, when people leave the team, my manager will coordinate a farewell happy hour and card for them. She did none of that for me, and they knew that. So we ended up doing our own thing, and it was a group of four of us. There were like I think it was like two or three people that I also was cool with in the office, and had hung out with before, that were like not able to make it. Like, one had a funeral to go to, the other was on time off. They were like in Brazil for 2 weeks. They're still there right now. And then another person, they had to dog sit, and because it was such last minute, it was like the day of that they were finding out about it. They couldn't get out of the dog sitting because the person was leaving for their job, like for travel somewhere. um but yeah, so it ended up being four of us. um and we had a great time. And y'all, it was like, you know how them work happy hours be like fake, and like you don't want to get too, you don't want to get too like lit around your coworkers, and you want to be professional. This was none of that. This was like we were free, we were being ourselves, and we had a good time. Like it was amazing. It felt like these people were like my legit friends, or at least potential to be legit friends that I could see myself hanging out with, like just on like a normal like time out. You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad that they came through for me. And guess what, y'all? At the very end, two of them, because like I said, it was four of us all together, two of them decided to take it upon themselves to split the bill amongst them two and cover it like the whole tab for all of us. And I was like, what? Guys, that is, I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. Because usually at the farewell happy hours that my manager puts together that the team goes to, um, everybody covers their own tabs. So it's like that was a blessing in its own self, right? Like, no, I didn't get the happy hour from my manager, and from the research team in that sense. Um, that's all good, but at the end of the day, I still had one with people who actually care about me as a person, and cared enough also to cover my tab. And I had got a meal, you know what I mean? I got a meal. I got two double shot margaritas, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, y'all, I y'all the long way. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like I really appreciate that. So I cannot ask for a better send off. And this whole experience has taught me a lot, and all I can do is move forward from here with those lessons and allow it to inform how I continue on in this life, whether it's in work or other areas of my life. um I think everything that we experience shapes us into who we are and gives us the wisdom that we have. And so yeah, I'm just very excited and content, I should say, with like where things are right now. There are definitely things that I still want to improve upon and things that I want to see differently, but I have to take it one day at a time. Um, but yeah, so I just came on here to just tell you guys the last few moments of my work experience, and work, uh I don't know, work drama. And just to let you know, like, it wasn't all bad. Yes, the experience within my team was not ideal in the management, but there were roses among those thorns. And I'm so grateful to those individuals, um, and to the people who just made my time there more manageable and things like that. I made sure during my happy hour, while we were all sitting there talking, I made sure to affirm them and thank them for showing up for me and considering me, because that's all it took, right? That's all it took, um, for me to feel appreciated, and for me to know that there are people who see me and that care about me and who do not judge me based on what somebody else might say or what they might perceive or whatever the case might be, right? They know the truth, right? And if I like, it's reassuring for me in a lot of ways, because sometimes people that don't know the whole story, or people who are on the side of like my manager's perspective or things like that, will literally take things out of context and say, well, they didn't plan anything for you. They usually plan it for everybody else. So you must have been the problem. Like they must not have planned it because you were the problem. But as you can see, there are people in the office who went out of their way for me to plan something. Therefore, I am not the problem. The system is the problem. And there were people there that chose to go out of the system, out of their way to say, you know what, this is not right. Noon has been a great person to me. Noon has been a great person in this office and the things that she's contributed. I want to do something for her. I want to make sure she's not forgotten. I want to let her know that she is worth being celebrated. And I appreciate that. I cannot say that enough. I appreciate that. So, um, always stay true to who you are at the end of the day because there are people who will appreciate you for who you are. Um, even though there are people out there that won't appreciate you. So that's all I can say. That's all I can say. And I wanted to do this video yesterday, but I didn't feel like it, y'all. Ideally, I was like, yeah, like it's my last day. I'm about to do this video, documenting my last day on my last day. So y'all can get those, I guess, the raw feelings and emotions and just fresh, like straight out of the office type feel. But I didn't feel like it. And at the same time, I'm like, I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I want to document, but I'm not trying to put on, right? So if I don't feel like it, I'm not going to do it. Like, there's nobody that I need to impress by doing this. I'm doing this for myself, and I'm just hoping that it um, inspires other people and speaks to other people. So I gave myself permission to rest yesterday and do my own thing in my own celebration of how I wanted to spend my time after leaving my job for the last time. And so that's why I'm doing it today. So I knew I owed y'all a update, and again, I owed myself an update in terms of like recording this because I do want to make sure that I am documenting my experience as much as possible. Now that I have left my job, I don't know how much I will be documenting like my career journey in general because I'm still trying to figure out like what I want to do on this channel. Um, or what I want to focus on. Like maybe I talk about a lot of different things, or maybe I focus on one thing, but I don't know that I want to always talk about my career journey. So I will just go wherever my heart leads and whatever I feel led to share. Um, that kind of, sorry, I kind of triggered myself by saying that, by saying whatever I feel led to share, because it takes me back to another time in my life. But that's also for another video, another story. But yeah, so I just wanted to let y'all know that though. So like whatever content I choose to put up here, like just know like that is my heart at the time, and I may or may not continue to document this particular journey. I think the theme of my life in general has just been transitions, 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 transitions. And I know that that's the human experience in general, but I think that my transitions have been quite interesting considering where I come from. So I do feel like the theme of transition is big in my life. It continues to show itself. And so, um, yeah, I think the lessons that I learned from those transitions are what I'm called to share and what I feel that people can benefit from. Because a lot of the times we go through our transition periods alone and confused and not really sure what to do or how to navigate. And we don't know that other people are going through it. And so I really hope to be that voice for people, that example for people, to say, like, you're not alone. You're not alone. And it's okay to change. And it's okay to think one way one day and change your line of thinking the next day. Like, it's okay as you get more information, as you get more in tune with who you are and yourself and things like that. It's okay. You do not have to live according to the status quo and what people tell you that you need to be doing, or what the society tells you that you need to be doing. You definitely want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and not doing anything crazy, or anything that can take away your freedoms, but um, definitely, definitely get in tune with yourself and don't let people take that away from you, because that's all you really have at the end of the day. If you allow people to tell you who you are, you will forever walk around in this life confused and under somebody else's shadow. So, my encouragement is take your time. Don't feel like you have to rush, but definitely make it a point to find your voice and live true to who you are so that you can be your most authentic self at all times. And you will love yourself better for it, and you will be happier for it as well. But that can only come when you consistently commit to putting yourself first above other people. So that's what I have to say. And I shall come back soon. I don't know when I'll do my next video, but I do plan on doing a video on my reasons for going to esthetician school. I hope you guys tune in. And yeah, that's all I have to say today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you got something out of this today. Feel free to subscribe, comment. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you got going on, or if you resonated with anything that I said. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.